For those that haven't heard of Carly, this is aiming to be a more user-friendly version of basically dealership-level diagnostics and programming tools that in theory will do everything from a proper all-module code scan to coding features into your car that maybe the original owner didn't opt for, or just to change settings that you can't otherwise get access to. It's a remarkably powerful tool, and one that seems like it would be the best companion to keep in your car at all times. It has some pretty unique and impressive features, so let me start by showing you what it can do. First, a quick look at their new universal scanner. This is a pretty typical OBD2 dongle, albeit a remarkably slim and light one. You've got the OBD2 port on one end and the two status LEDs on the other, and well, that's pretty much it. You plug it in as you would any other OBD2 dongle, and then you will need your phone with the Carly app installed to connect to it. Once you connect, which can take a couple of minutes most of the time by the way, you will be greeted with the dashboard where you're presented with a kind of wide range of options, including diagnostics, coding, and live data. Now, seeing as my car doesn't have that much wrong with it, I'll be using my friend's F10 BMW 5 Series as a great example of the diagnostic capabilities. It is as thorough as the dealership level tool ISTA, which we do also have. The process for seeing the kind of all the errors is a little bit more annoying. On ISTA, it just lists everything that's wrong in a nice, easy to read list, whereas on Carly, they're split into each sort of control unit or control module. Still, you get all of these same errors, albeit with often less useful error messages. For example, the central gateway error codes we got said FSCSM sends F60 invalid fingerprint, and just the word assert. Still, to be clear, these are not error codes you would get on a regular OBD2 reader. You can clear those codes, which is likely the most important function, or you can use the Smart Mechanic feature to learn more. For the one radio error message I do have on my car, I can't say that it was that useful. It gave me some ChatGPT level spiel about what CAN bus is, including the data speed if you're interested. It told me about the different CAN bus systems, and then gave me some generic and fairly common sense things to check, but nothing remotely specific to this fault itself. In fact, if you scroll down to the bottom, it shows you related CAN bus errors, and you can expand them to see that they're pretty much the same text. In fact, a completely different CAN bus error we found on the 5 Series had the exact same text too. As some feedback for Carly here, this page is laid out really badly. If someone is looking for what to do about an error, giving them an essay about what the overall system isn't useful. Honestly, get rid of all of that or replace it with a learn more about CAN bus link or something. The bullet point should be at the top, and if you're going to say that Carly's expert mechanics have developed the following guide for your fault code, then it should really be a bit more specific than more than what a simple Google search for CAN bus communication failure would provide. I mean, this is a premium feature that you're charging a hefty premium for, so I would expect to get a premium feature in return. The System tab just lists that the VAG parts catalog, ETKA, lists this as an electronics fault, and then some more ChatGPT type blurb about what electrics means on cars. And the Intelligence tab is arguably the worst part. It plays an animation and then tells you a potential catastrophic error that might be headed your way based on the error you currently have. This car is missing, the F10 5 Series is missing its EGR valve, so Carly thinks that the turbo is going to explode soon. Well, a 15% chance anyway. While I can understand the intentions of why this is here, this ends up feeling more like fear-mongering to the uninformed. If they presented their sources, like based on 10,000 users with your error code, 1,500 went on to have this other error code, it might seem more genuine and informed, but as it is now, it doesn't seem like something I would put any stock into. is that based on 7 reports and 1 person had that further error? I mean, I can't tell, so I can't trust it. One of the main selling points Carly likes talking about is the ability to code your car, basically changing hidden values in various control modules to enable hidden or locked features, or just to customize various settings. A great example on my Audi S4 is the ability to turn off the feature where the hazard lights start flashing when you brake hard. Now, I do actually quite like that feature on the road, but when I took my car to Donington Park for a track day, it was pretty annoying to have them flashing every time I came to braked into a corner, and it would have been nice if I could have coded that out for the day. With Carly, I can. Now, if you've ever seen Carly advertised before, you'll know that this is very much a tool for BMWs. It does support some other brands and models, but on my 2013 Audi S4, it has access to a grand total of 3 control modules, and I can only code maybe 1 or 2 settings that I can't control through the car's infotainment system, let alone a specialized tool like VCDS, which would let me code literally everything. On the F10 5 Series though, it had access to 10 modules and a plethora of settings that you don't otherwise have access to without a dealership level tool like Input. That included some that my friend had wanted to code for a little while, like turning off the annoying disclaimer that covers part of the backup camera's display, also turning off the sports display which didn't work on his car, and showing the actual speed, not the corrected speed. It's worth noting that a lot of these coding results seem to be incorrect. Like, it said that the option to start the engine without brake was enabled, but it very much wasn't. I still think that the coolest sort of set of options has to be for the seat heating. You can actually change the set temperatures for each of the modes. If you've always found that your seat heaters, heat up way too much in the highest setting, but mode 2 is a bit too cold, you can tweak it to find exactly the temperature you'd like, and each seat is independent, so if your partner or whatever prefers a different set temperature, you could change that too. That's pretty useful. And something else that's useful is the Features tab. Now again, this is best on a BMW. It does have some functions on my Audi S4, like the rear brake service position, but on the 5 Series, it could reset engine and transmission adaptation, start a DPF regeneration, and even code in new batteries too. One of the features that should work on basically any car is the battery health monitoring feature. Basically, you leave the dongle connected, and after 24 hours, it gives you a report on your battery's health, and possibly more importantly, the discharge percentage per day. Now, I'm not entirely sure how much I believe this, as you're introducing a car-powered dongle that wakes itself up to read the battery voltage, which itself is using the battery's power to do so. But 2.5% per day seems reasonable enough, if maybe just a little bit higher than I was expecting. It is worth noting that even for a BMW, Carly is nowhere near as powerful as ISTA and Input, the dealership-specific tools, because those have literally every function BMW has written for these cars. It has manuals to solve each specific problem, full troubleshooting guides that are very much relevant to the problem, and every diagnostic test and function you could imagine. The big problem with tools like ISTA and Input are their insane complexity. You really need like a 4-week class just to understand it, whereas with Carly, while it isn't anywhere near as powerful, it's beautifully simple to use. A little clunky and slow, but easy for sure. Of course, for anything other than a BMW, that proposition changes quite a lot. VCDS, a third-party dealership level tool, offers infinitely more in terms of diagnostics, coding, and functions. It's still a pretty dense UI that takes some time to get used to, but with the limited number of functions that Carly offers by comparison, it's pretty hard not to pick VCDS or something like the OBD11 tool, which is even more user-friendly, but just as powerful as VCDS over Carly. The final nail in the coffin for me is the pricing. On the surface, £60 for the dongle and all those features, or £79 for a BMW, seems like a great deal. Hell, paying the £9 or £27, depending on which one you get, for all brands seems like a pretty good deal too. As I mentioned, I would skip the £36 Smart Mechanic feature personally, but for £87 all in, that does seem pretty decent. Until you scroll down and zoom in on the unequivocally smallest text on the page. The Carly licenses are an annual subscription. So that £87 or £123 with Smart Mechanic is a yearly cost. For context, VCDS, the Volkswagen Audi Group dealership level tool, is £185 for the 3-VIN unit. That's 2 years of Carly subscriptions for infinitely more features. For a BMW, if you're willing to acquire ISTA like 95% of enthusiasts do, all you need is a 20 quid cable from eBay and a spare laptop. Hell, you could even buy a cheap used spare laptop from eBay for like £100 and still be up on Carly here. The fact that they are charging an annual subscription for that much is a complete deal breaker for me. While I am enough of a tech and car nerd to get on with ISTA and VCDS just fine, for that kind of cost, I think a fair few people would be able to deal with that sort of tough UI, watch guides on YouTube and stuff too. I think it's really the trifecta of it's an annual subscription for that much money and for a lack of capabilities compared to similarly priced or designed tools, especially on anything other than a BMW. If it was cheaper, maybe 20 quid per year, it would be a lot easier to forgive, or if it was as capable as something like an Autel scanner, that might justify the price. But as it stands, I can't imagine being willing to pay that sort of price every year, especially for my Audi. The Smart Mechanic feature is a bit of a joke, really. It's ChatGPT plus a Google search. It's not relevant or useful information, and it really isn't worth £36 per year. At least in my opinion. Of course, those are my thoughts, but I would love to hear yours in the comments down below. What do you think of Carly? Is this a tool you would pick up yourself, or is this annual subscription fee a turn off for you too? If you do have one of these, I'd love to know how you get on with it. Obviously, I am a bit more of an enthusiast and perhaps slightly too much of an enthusiast to see the value in this tool, but if you do find it useful, I would love to hear from you in the comments down below as well. I will link to their website in the description if you are interested. Not an affiliate link or anything, they did send it to me to review. But yeah, that's kind of it really. If you want to see more videos, probably not quite like this one, more sort of general tech, gaming stuff reviews, do hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification icon. If you want to see my car channel, you can check that out at The Wheel. That will be linked on the end cards as well. And if you want to check out more videos, there'll be plenty on the end cards there too. If you want to support these videos, you can do so through YouTube, Patreon, pick up a hoodie or t-shirt like this one, or a load of other ones that I designed myself, and there's plenty of other links in the description if you're interested. Otherwise, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next video.